Welcome to Purpose. I'm your host, Corie Clark. I'm just a normal girl who decided to go for it. I created a thriving business from the ground up without sacrificing my sanity, and I believe that you can do the same. You were created on purpose, for a purpose, and I fully believe you can turn that purpose into profit. Each week, I'm going to bring you practical advice to help you live your life and grow your business on purpose. I'm so excited to catch up with you guys today. I have some great things that I have been wanting to share, some things that have been on my heart, and some things that people actually like. I get asked these questions a lot, and I just thought this would be a great space for me to share them with you. And so, something that has come up, actually yesterday I had a coaching call with my VIP group, and we were talking about how you show up as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, even just as a person in life. You know, how are you showing up, and who is the person you're trying to become? Who is the CEO you're trying to become? And we went into a lot of that. And so I thought I really wanted to share this with you guys. And one of the reasons the questions was asked is somebody asked, you know, how do you keep going when you're in that slump, when you just aren't feeling it, and how do you stay consistent? And so I just wanted to share that with you guys today because I think it's very important, and I think sometimes it can be really hard. You know, it happens to me all the time, and so. But there are some things that I do to help me get out of that slump and to help me to stay focused and to help me to stay consistent and committed. And so I want you guys to think about, who are you trying to become? You know, what kind of business owner do you want to be? What kind of spouse do you want to be? What kind of parent do you want to be? What kind of friend do you want to be? And you have to start showing up as that person right now. You can't wait for the right circumstance. You can't wait for more money. You can't wait for a better job or for that breakthrough launch. You know, you have to start showing up as if you are already that successful person, or in that successful, you know, thriving relationship. You have to show up that way already, right now, starting today. And I promise if you start to show up as if those things have already happened, you're going to start to see massive growth and success in every area of your life, not just your business. Okay. And so, one story that has always gotten me, and it's kind of the reason I started thinking this way and acting this way, is there's an interview with Tom Watson from IBM, and he was asked about why they were so successful. And so he said that it was so successful for 3 reasons. And the first one is that at the very beginning, he had a very clear picture of what the company would look like when it was finally done. Okay. And then the second reason is that once he had that picture, he asked himself how that company that looked like that, how it would act. And so then he created a picture of how IBM would act when it was finally done. And then the third reason, he said that once I had a picture of how IBM would look when the dream was in place and how that company would act, he realized that unless they started acting that way at the very beginning, they would never get there. So in other words, he said, I realized that for IBM to become a great company, it would have to act like a great company long before it ever became one. So when I heard that, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I just sat down and I started writing that stuff out. So you have to have a clear picture of what your business is going to look like when it's finished. And get crazy, dream big, get extravagant, and really create a picture, you know, of what you want your business to look like. And then you need to write out, how is that business going to act on a daily basis? How much money is it going to be making? How many employees is it going to have? What are the ins and outs going to be of that business? And then you have to look at those things and you have to start acting that way today. You have to start showing up that way today. So I want you guys to do that. You can apply this to your personal life too. What think about the person that you want to become. Think about the business you want to run. Think about the CEO you want to be and start acting like that and show up that way every day. And so, does that person sleep in? Probably not. Does that person have a messy house? Does that person eat unhealthy? I don't think so. The person that runs the business that I want to run, is very organized. That person is healthy. That person is driven. That person shows up every single day for her audience, for her team, for her customers. That person is consistent. That person is reliable. That person has integrity, So those kinds of things, those are things that I do every day. I show up that way. And when I start to get into a little funk and feel like I don't want to show up, I would rather sleep in. And, I keep saying sleep in. Honestly, it's not a big deal if you sleep in once in a while. But I think if you are driven and you want to run a successful company, you're going to have to make the decision to start acting like that person, and stop making excuses. So, a lot of people will say oh, well, I'm just not a disciplined person. Honestly, I don't think there is any naturally disciplined people. We're all human, we all have weak flesh and we would love to be lazy and, sleep in. Discipline is learned. And it takes practice. The definition of discipline is to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. Okay, humans don't want to be controlled. So just that word control in the definition should tell you, people just aren't naturally disciplined. It's your choice. It's your decision to become disciplined. So here's how I've done this, and here's how I apply it to my life every single day. I wrote out a vision of the business, of the company I want to run, and what it's going to look like. And I got crazy. I wrote and every single little detail. Who works there, how many people work there, how much money we're bringing in, what we're offering, what I'm doing on a daily basis, how I'm committed to the company as a visionary. And then I wrote down who I would be and what my relationships would look like and what my health would look like, what my habits would be. I just wrote down all those things, the kind of person that I truly want to be, the kind of person I look up to. You can become that person. If you look up to Oprah, you can start living like Oprah today. You don't have to wait till you have money. You don't have to wait till you have a TV show. You don't have to wait for your big break. You can start acting and living like her today. So once I came up with that description of who I want to be, I came up with some non-negotiables. Okay, so I want to be a healthy person. So my health is non-negotiable. My daily walk is non-negotiable. Moving my body every day. My reading my Bible in the morning is non-negotiable. Writing in my journal and doing my morning mindset work and writing down my affirmations and my dreams, that's a non-negotiable. So I want you to come up with some things. It's harder at the beginning because maybe you really don't have any routines or disciplines just yet, and that's okay. You can start small. Pick one or two things that you really want to get consistent with and just tell yourself this is non-negotiable. If you made a commitment with someone else, if someone else was supposed to meet you somewhere one day and you showed up and they did not, you would be upset with that person. So make these commitments to yourself and don't flake on yourself. Come up with those non-negotiables that will help you become this person. They'll help you act like this person already today, right now. And honestly, this is just how I started. And so now that I've started building these daily habits, I definitely don't have all of the ones like nailed down that I want. And I just came off of a vacation where like I really did not really do much of any of those. I still worked, I still showed up for my audience, but I did not do my daily walk. And, we had a wedding, we had a lot going on. So you have to give yourself grace too. But I promise if you make a commitment to yourself, if it's simply just making your bed in the morning and going for a 15-minute walk, like just tell yourself, this is non-negotiable, I'm doing it. And if you need to put it in your planner or in your phone or in your schedule and actually schedule those things that you want to do daily, then do it until it becomes a habit. I really want to encourage you guys to just start small and start showing up as the person you want to become. So think about the things that person would do and maybe even make a list of the things that person wouldn't do. Because then when you catch yourself doing those things, when you catch yourself scrolling social media, ask yourself, is this something that CEO would be doing? Probably not, and come up with those 2 lists. Things you want to be doing, things you don't want to be doing, and really make a commitment to yourself to show up that way, because I promise you, you are going to see progress. You're going to see success, and it's going to come so much easier because you can't just wake up one day with $1 million or multi-million-dollar business and then start acting like that person. That's a totally different person that is running that business than you are today. So the quickest path to get there is to start showing up as that person. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of Purpose. I'm your host, Corie Clark, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could head on over to iTunes and leave a review, and then go ahead and screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram in your stories. I would love to know who's listening and what you're up to and how this episode resonated with you. And if you want any more information about this episode, you can head to the show notes or to corieclark.com/podcast, and you'll see all our episodes right there on that page. Thanks again, you guys, and I will see you next week on Purpose.